I believe that there's no role for beta testing of automatic driving assistance systems, specifically the autopilot and the full self-drive on our roads. Um, and I'm going to expand on that a little bit today because I'm still pissed off about the way our government, National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, and I will throw Tesla in there, have handled the auto driving, self-driving.
Playing with the lexicon. As we have said before,
Yes.
the phrase autopilot should be challenged to the ends of the earth. It's not autopilot. I mean, you
Is-
guys, you
Isn't
guys
this
are
called fraud?
experienced. It's called it's called fraud. It's auto
Yes.
fraud. But you
Yeah.
guys who spend a lot of time in aircraft, you know what an autopilot does
All
and
right.
is. This
It's
isn't it.
it's it's not self-driving if your hands are on the wheel. Okay. It
Yeah.
is self-correcting, but so anyway, so NHTSA always looks at these and they looked at 956 crashes in which autopilot was initially reported to have been in use. There's been 40 investigations accidents with Tesla, and there's been 23 deaths. So what's in the name? Perception is your reality. And this is what pisses me off. It's all about perception. This was taunted as being fully self-driving autopilot. And I think it's a terrible name um, for their using autopilot on the lane correction and all that they shouldn't be done. Ford calls their system Blue Cruise hands-free highway driving. Enjoy the scenery in front of you. So what the Ford is on very limited controlled access highways, basically interstates, controlled interstates, and they'll show you which ones it works, is you can take your hands off the wheel, but it is monitoring your eyes. So if it sees you're not looking at the road, it's going to warn you and you have to make you put your hands back on the wheel. GM has theirs called Super Cruise, and GM has felt, and I really applaud GM for this. Did you hear that? I
I
applaud
heard it.
General.
I heard it.
You may not hear
Yeah.
that again, but GM has felt that words really do matter in how we describe these systems, and that's why they said we need to alter the public's understanding of the differences eventually among automated, autonomous, autopilot. So what they're focusing on is when you do your GM Super Cruise, it's called hands-free, eyes-on. So what they're emphasizing is, yes, you can take your hands off, but your eyes are still on the road. So they're not using those words on purpose, and that's been the main of their campaign. And when you look at the brochures, it's hands-free, eyes on. So it's hands-free driving. You're driving the car without your hands. That makes sense. Okay, so you're still engaged. You're looking at the road. You're not on your emails. And then the one that got the best was the Lexus Teammate with Advanced Drive, which is similar. It monitors you. Now, look, Volvo does not have it has lane correction and that kind of stuff, active cruise control, but they are working on what they want to call Ride Pilot. And that will only be initially rolled out in California. They're behind on that. And their Ride Pilot is truly autonomous, where you don't have to have your eyes on the road. And but they're not ready to roll that out yet. But they're using LiDAR, which can detect stationary vehicles. Now, listen, to Mercedes-Benz, also considered, of course, a big innovator in safety. Their system is called Drive Pilot, and that's ready to show for you under conditions that help secure a ride. Conditions include clear lane markings on approved freeways, so they're gonna decide. Oh, how about I did thumbs up, and you see it popped up on the screen. um, and so they're designating kind of like Ford which roadways this will work on. Moderate to heavy traffic with speeds under 40 miles per hour. Okay. We know speed, crashes at higher speed, more fatalities, more injuries. Daytime lighting and clear weather. Driver visible by camera located above driver's display. So, Mercedes-Benz is basically going to have an autopilot for when you're stuck in a traffic jam on the interstate that's start, stop, 15 to 40 miles an hour. This thing will basically drive for you. You don't have to do it. So Volvo and Mercedes, leaders in automotive safety, have gone the way with LiDAR, the radar. They want that in addition to the cameras. And they're being very slow to roll this out, and they're rolling out in a very controlled environment, contrary to what Tesla did. So for me, two things that piss me off. One is the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration needs to step in like the European Union has and to tell companies where you can use this, okay, and what the requirements for your vehicle are. I don't think there should be any self-driving autopilot car out there that doesn't have LiDAR. If they're going to have these monitoring systems to make sure that you're looking at the road, you got your hands on the wheel when you need to be, what about maybe some of this technology for our regular vehicles to keep people paying attention to the road and decrease our distracted driving deaths? Because we all know that the safest way to lower the best way to lower fatalities and crashes on our roadways is to get rid of the human driver. I mean, eventually the computer will do it better, but negative reinforcement, but there's still people that clip their seatbelts behind them and do all different things. But yeah, so my rant is we need more. I hate this. The last thing I want to say is government intervention, but we share the roads with other vehicles, and Lexus has been, I mean, Tesla's been too aggressive and they're rolling out and too, let's say, fair in my mind. I think they will eventually get there, and they'll be part of it, but this needs to be regulated, I mean, this, and I think the European Union is doing a much better job of rolling this out in a very controlled and studied fashion.
Stefan, did I hear you correctly that in your rant, you actually gave GM positive credit and you suggested government intervention?
Yeah,
See, and personally, last point I'm going to say, I don't see one advantage whatsoever to hands-free driving. What am I missing here? Why would I not want my hands on the wheel? I really don't. I mean, what else am I going to be doing? Am I playing solitaire or what am I doing?
Yeah, I completely
well,
agree. There's no why have, unless there's no steering wheel, it's fully like Stefan has talked about, have the vehicle drive itself really, and there's no steering wheel. If that in short of that, no, I want to have my hands on the wheel and I want to be driving. What I would love to see, and to Stefan's point earlier about LiDAR, there's two really famous Tesla autopilot accidents that resulted in fatality. There's this one and the one in Florida where the guy was watching Harry Potter and he crashed into the side of a semi truck.
Mm.
And both of those would have been prevented by LiDAR. So
yeah,
anyway, my
I,
point is what I want is to have my hands on the wheel. I want to be driving. And what I want from technology is the LiDAR to tell me, hey, there's a deer that you can't see.
right.
Watch out.
Yep.
There's
Yep.
wildlife. There's a dog, or there's a pedestrian about to cross, or there's a cyclist. I want the technology to highlight that and help me avoid it, not avoid it itself. And if I have that technology that is better than my eyes, it improves my perception and my senses and can keep me out of danger. That's what I want. But I want my hands
Yeah.
on the wheel. Yes, Adams, I agree with you.
And
So
I like your thought because it gives you the hero trait that you don't have now. Seeing in the dark,
yes.
faster
Right.
response rate. I like that.